Chat. A streamer is never late, nor is he early. He only arrives precisely when he means to. Except for me. I am actually just late. You might have guessed from the title. We're doing Nintendo Direct Bingo. Because we've got Nintendo Direct on, Friday? This is the longest Nintendo Direct there has ever been. Which is crazy. That could mean everything, or it could mean nothing. We could get Sakurai yapping about Kirby Air Ride for 30 minutes. And the rest of the 30 minutes be a Direct. And this is also the first actual Nintendo Direct of the Switch 2's lifespan. We've had a Donkey Kong Direct, we've had a Pokemon thing, we've had a partner Direct, we had a hardware-focused thing. So this is our first proper, actual Switch 2 Nintendo Direct. The longest one ever. So really, the sky is the limit with what we're putting here. So I'm gonna start with something really, really, obvious. It's gonna be here. If they don't put Expedition 33 on the Switch 2, it can't be the best system. It's an inevitability at this point. Just a matter of whether or not Sandfall's gotten a Switch 2 dev kit, because I know those are weirdly hard to get. Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade, obviously. It's like a launch announcement for the Switch. We already know it's a thing, so hopefully we just get a release date. Yeah, Duskbloods, because we could see Duskbloods. I think it's very possible that with Mario Kart and Donkey Kong being such heavy hitters in the beginning of the launch, that they wanted to give those some breathing room before they really get into Duskbloods. So now is the time to start the Duskbloods hype cycle. Maybe we'll get a little trailer, maybe we'll get a mention that it's still progressing, tacked on at the end of some other FromSoft announcement. Or maybe we'll actually get a release date. Oh, here's another thing that's like a lock for sure. Prime 4. I think Metroid Prime is still coming this year. Some people are thinking maybe it's been delayed to spring. Delayed, even though we've never had a release date. We kind of just assumed it would be like November or something. I still think there's a possibility that it comes out in November. Nintendo doesn't like to get people hyped up about a thing unless it's like really ready. This is the company who made a whole Fire Emblem game and sat on it complete for 2 years. And the company that took a solid year to polish and bug fix Tears of the Kingdom. So I'm going to say we at least get a release window, if not a release date. Chat, you got any wild things? Anything crazy? I've got a few crazy things. You know what? Let me put my crazy up out front. There's a little company called In Games who recently just acquired the publishing rights for Shenmue 3. And they're releasing a new enhanced version of Shenmue 3, which I believe is a free upgrade for Shenmue owners. And I believe this is an anniversary year for Shenmue. So I'm going to make a bold prediction. I think we're going to get a port of Shenmue 1 and 2 to Switch. It's on everything else, so it's not a lock, but it would be really nice. Just let me believe, dang it. There's another thing that people have been rumoring for what feels like years at this point. People have insisted that a Fire Emblem 4 remake is on the way. And, you know, I don't know about all that. But they did just put some Fire Emblem music on NSO. And, you know, it's something. It's breadcrumbs. Hope it has a CL pinup background. We don't get backgrounds on the Switch, too. Nintendo doesn't like us that much. I hope so too, though. Fire Emblem game / remake. If there's a new Fire Emblem game or there is a remake, that'll satisfy this. This is something that I've heard tossed around, and I think it's kind of bold, but like, I think it would be really cool. I'm gonna be really vague. I'm gonna say new NSO platform. It could be a non-Nintendo system, it could be the TurboGrafx, it could be the Dreamcast, we don't know. I think getting the DS or the 3DS would be really cool. If there was some way to do connectivity between systems and have like a Switch 1 or 2 for touchscreen controls in addition to your main Switch. It's convoluted, but I think it'd be neat. Or maybe some kind of sideways console grip, so we can get it vertical and play it like a Switch and still have the touchscreen work. Who knows? This one I think is a little bit out there, so we'll see. But here's something that's not out there at all. One thing I'm really surprised about is that we're this far into the year and we haven't heard much about a new Mario game. Because I believe it's the 40th anniversary of the series. So, like, we're going to hear something at some point. The movie is coming out in a year and a half, so promotion of that should start sooner rather than later. I'm going to say Mario game or Direct. There's either going to be a new major Mario game, or they're going to say, hey guys, we're having a special Mario presentation in a few weeks. Which is probably where they would info dump about, like, the movie or something. Say and or Direct. You know what else is the 40th anniversary of the 85 Bears? I think they're going to add an 85 Bears game. I think you're dead on. You are right on the money. That should be the free space. Live action Zelda movie trailer? When is that supposed to come out? May 7th, 2027. I mean, that is less than 2 years out. Remember when I said that the Mario movie was a year and a half out? It isn't. It's half a year out. So yeah, we should be getting a promotion. Zelda movie could go on here. They could, like, formally announce the cast. I don't know how Nintendo would handle promotion for the movie because they're so new with movies. Teaser trailer, maybe. Maybe they could announce that they're making the movie. They gotta talk about that new Splatoon game. They, like, shadow dropped a trailer, and we're like, okay, bye, and then we've heard nothing about it since. Just a brand new single-player Splatoon game. Splatoon Raiders. Hyrule Warriors, that feels like a for sure thing. They've got to talk about that, right? Anything about Zelda movie? Dude, okay, now I'm upset because Jack Black as Ganon would work perfect. He'd be great. And I'm upset about it. But it would work great. Danny DeVito as Tingle, again, perfect. This is the Triforce. Someone's got to get on that. Someone's just got to meme it into existence. Be perfect. The Master Sword. Hyrule Warriors of some kind. Middle of the Zelda movie starts singing about Cuckoos. Chad, how do we pronounce the chicken name? I know different people like to pronounce it different ways. I'm partial to Cucko. Which is not to say that I think it's correct, I just think it's funny. Cuckoo. Cuckoo makes sense. I think we're gonna see some new Switch 2 editions of older games. Because we've only got a few editions, and in the Direct where they announced it, they, like, showed off a bunch of games. They had, like, a little on-screen thing with, like, game logos and covers. We've only gotten Zelda and Mario so far. So it has been reaffirmed by reputable sources. Same reputable source that said that this Direct would happen on 9/11-ish. Here we are, waiting for 9/12. Reaffirmed that Red Dead 2 is coming to Switch. And, yeah, it should definitely be able to handle it no problem. So I think that's a lock. Isn't Red Dead 1 on Switch now? Yeah, Red Dead 1 is on Switch, so Red Dead 2 is a lock. It's just a matter of when. That one, at least, we do have authoritative information on, so it is actually genuinely a lock instead of other things that I've called a lock. Here's another fairly safe one. I put this on a bingo card in the past and it didn't happen, and I was like, okay, well, it's not like a given, but it is just like a given now. So given that Marvel Rivals came to PS4, there's no question that they're working on a Switch port. Okay, how are we looking so far? We got some room. Here's something that I think is pretty likely. So Prime 4 is coming, and Nintendo, like, made a big deal out of remastering Prime 1. But we haven't seen anything about Prime 2 or 3. This is probably the part where you expect me to say, so clearly they're going to remaster Prime 2 and 3. But I think Nintendo makes a lot of dumb decisions, and I think actually they're not going to do that. I think they're just going to put Prime 2 on GameCube NSO. And they're going to be like, yeah, that's good enough. Never mind that Prime 3 isn't available because that's a Wii game and we don't have, like, a Wii game thing. If this Direct starts and they're like, guys, Wii NSO, I'm going to think, oh, they're definitely putting Prime 3 and Prime 2 on NSO. Because there not being a Wii NSO is what's keeping us from playing the whole series. Alright, here's another lock. We already know that the Elden Ring port is coming. They're just still working on it. I think we're going to get a release window. I think we'll get a release date, but I'm going to be conservative and say a release window. They could be like, it's coming out next spring. You'll hear more about it in our spring direct. Or they could just be like, yeah, it's available today, because they like doing that. Here's something that's going to happen eventually. I think we're going to get a content update for Mario Kart World, whether that's like a free update or DLC. Who knows? But if the past 2 generations have taught us anything, it's that Mario Kart gets DLC. And just continued support in general. People also noted that there were 2 voice actors from Bonanza who are listed in World, Mario Kart World. So people theorized that maybe we're gonna get like K. Rool and Void Kong, whether that's DLC or a free update. Also very conspicuous that Pauline and DK are really low on costumes in that game, so that could mean something. New Game Freak game. They do have that game coming out. What is it called? Beast of Reincarnation, the first AAA title by Game Freak outside of the Pokemon series. Releasing in 2026 for Windows, PS5, and Xbox Series X and S. If it's coming to Series S, it can come to Switch. So you know what? I will put it on. Game Freak game on Switch 2 just seems like a thing that should be done. Okay, so here's one that they'd want to save for a bigger direct. Also, the other 2 games in this series are already on Switch. I think Baldur's Gate 3 is coming. Baldur's Gate 1 and 2 are already on Switch. This is the kind of third-party announcement that you don't even put in the third-party direct because no one watches those. You're going to want to put it in the big boy direct. Or maybe that's Copium. Okay, so here's something that's not going to happen. But just give me this one thing. Please let me be right about something. It's been ages since I've had news from this series. Please, just make real ports of Kingdom Hearts. Not the stupid cloud ports that suck so bad. Please have actual Kingdom Hearts ports. Wouldn't that be crazy if the Switch 2 editions of the Kingdom Hearts games just completely throw out the cloud thing and they're like, okay, now we're going to actually run these games on the hardware. They run on Steam Deck, so they can run on Switch too. It's just that Square is lazy. All right, next one we've got, of course, Clair Obscure. It's a matter of when, not a matter of if. That when could be pretty far off. But I think it's going to happen. They do always have some kind of an Octopath Traveler game. The problem is they had one last time, so I don't know if they're going to do it this time. They had, what was it called? The Adventures of Elliot, the Millennium Tales. Was that the one? I think, maybe? Yeah, that's looking very Octopathy. Didn't they have an actual Yeah, they had Octopath Traveler 0 last time. Wow, they had 2 Octopaths. That's insane. Maybe they'll have 3 this time. Here's something that I wonder about. So, Nintendo's cash cow right now could just be like Mario Kart and Donkey Kong, right? Like that's plenty. But what about Smash? What if they did like a Switch 2 edition of Smash and it had like more characters or something? It's possible that we get a Switch 2 edition of Smash. I'm very hesitant to say that we get like a DLC update because Sakurai's been working on Kirby Air Riders, and I'm even more hesitant to say that that we're gonna get a new game because for the past several years, the only man who can make Smash has not been making Smash. So if we get a new Smash from this man, it would be at like the end of the generation, and they'd be announcing it as it's starting development, which is not their style. You know what? Here's a safer prediction. I think we're gonna get some ports of some Resident Evil games. There are some on Switch, there are some not on Switch. Yeah, right? They'd have to make a new Smash. And as of not long ago, Sakurai is like, yeah, by the way, I'm definitely not working on Smash, I'm working on a different game. And that new game has not even released yet. Getting Melee on NSO would be insane. And I think a good way to hold people over. Something that we haven't heard about in a while, but is coming, is the new Rhythm Heaven game. They've been pretty quiet about it, and it's coming in 2026. I'm thinking that's like March 2026. DK DLC? It's possible. I don't think it's going to happen. This is the Odyssey team, and Odyssey never got any DLC. Maybe they could do an update. They did do some free updates for Bonanza. Not Bonanza, for Odyssey. They had the, like, Luigi's... Yeah, they had the balloon thing. So they could add stuff? I think I'm going to predict that. I think we get an update for Bonanza. Bonanza update. There's a really safe option here. Like, a really, really safe option. Like, I can put it down and it's probably going to be right. But that's boring. But maybe I'll do it anyway. We got the new Tomodachi Life. And that's coming out 2026. Probably early 2026. So I feel like they're going to want to talk about that too. Which is like, whatever. It's boring. It's not like Halo, but... people like the series. It's happening. They gotta give the people some meat. Okay, is there anything on here that needs to change? I think those are pretty good. I don't think anything on here is insane. For every bingo that I get, that is 1 gift sub. If, in the unlikely, and might I add, basically impossible scenario, that I get a total blackout of the card, I'm gonna do something big, and I don't even know what, because that's not gonna happen. It'll never happen. There will never ever be a time I make a direct bingo card and get every square. The chances of that are, like, impossible. But it would be so funny. If I get a blackout, we'll stream for 24 hours, and we will post it on social media so that I can't have any takesies backsies. Okay, it's out there now.